Found an old photo of the first crew I worked with in 1973. None of these guys are doing tree work today. So today's job was an assortment of different trees that I had to take down, including this dead madrone. And what was interesting was the size of these woodpecker holes. It was massive, deep holes. It must have been from a pileated woodpecker, one of those really large ones, and it was full of ants. As I was cutting it, I got bit by one of these big bad boys, and boy, did it hurt. They were coming out everywhere. So when I cut the top of the madrone out, it got hung up in the redwood trees, and I tried pulling it out, and I couldn't. So I tied a rope on it, and Jorge tried pulling the rope, so it didn't work, and so he rigged this up, a little bit of compound action. He just used a couple of carabiners to increase the amount of pull, and it worked. It would have been much better had he used pulleys, but that's what he had on site. So he just used a couple of carabiners, and down she comes. A little bit of effort, but madrone is really, really hard to get out of trees because the branches, they kind of go every which way and hang up. I gave a talk last Friday night at the South Skylines Association about which species of trees are the most hazardous up here. And I listed the black oak, Quercus as one of the extreme hazards because they rot out quite quickly and quite extensively. So we had this black oak right here that had leaves or had foliage all the way up on the top of it. But when I got up to the top of the tree and I rocked it from the bucket, this whole base was moving. And I just cut off this piece, and look at how hollow it is. I'm guessing that this one over here is also likely hollow. I'm going to knock it down. We're going to take down that dead madrone over there and that dead madrone. But what I really wanted to talk about was paying attention to your other black oaks. If you have black oaks on your property, really look at them close, because I just made a discovery here. This is a fairly significant black oak, and it leans in two directions. This limb over here, which by the way is quite heavy. The wood is very, very solid. It goes all the way up, and if it were to fail, it'll take out this grove of madrone trees, which is really kind of their whole front yard. So that would be a real shame. And what I see here, the first thing that I found was this little pocket, and it's just full of muck. So water's been draining down there, and very likely that area is compromised. You have to pretty much clear out all the moss on this tree to get a better visual. But I went down to the base of the tree and I pulled it back, and look what I've got going on in there. All that decay and all that separation. So very likely there's a crack that goes up over here all the way to this point right there. So I see this as a hazard tree. Looks like a little forest. Happy little trees. So I took one of these hollow rounds and cut off a couple pieces and nailed it on and made an owl box. People really liked it.